Never again, you sadistic bastards. Hello YouTube, I'm Darkest101 and goddamn this game was so fucking boring. You can't comprehend how boring this game was. It is so bad. I think I deserve a medal for managing to get through this game. It's fucking Prototype. Prototype is one of the earliest games I ever played on PS3, being ranked with other such titles as Batman Arkham Asylum, Ratchet & Clank, Tools of Destruction, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, and of course the game everybody compared this to, Infamous. However, unlike the rest of those games, I gave this one back literally after the first time I played it. No joke, I picked this up, played it for like 3 hours, dumped the controller down and whacked on Infamous. I hate this game. It is so fucking dull. So if you're gonna complain about how bad I slate this game, be thankful I reviewed this nightmare just for you guys. Before I begin, I'm just gonna say it right now, I'm not comparing this game to Infamous in any way. I thought about this long and hard and decided this game is getting my opinion on its own merits. No to get any more bad flack from comparing it to something else. The size of the open world in Prototype is admittedly impressive, it has to be said. Not only in the horizontal plane, but the world is deep too, like the buildings are tall as shit. However, this is where the compliments to the open world come to an end, because it's so boring. Nothing feels alive, nothing feels real. It's a faceless, bland slab that feels half finished if anything else. It's like if you were given a chance to parkour around fucking Silent Hill. Would you do it? No! Of course you wouldn't, because you're not fucking stupid! I suppose you could compare this city to being offered the opportunity to play in an abandoned, disease-ridden graveyard. You wouldn't want to do it, would you? Unless you were into that kind of thing. Your powers in this game are all about shape-shifting, meaning the combat is all about melee, which gives you claws, a sword, gauntlets, and a whip. And they all fucking suck. I'm not kidding, this game tries to do its best at being some kind of hack and slash experience, but it does a piss poor job of it. It's so bad. I found myself button mashing half the time because I couldn't get anything to work right. I mean, I ended up buying every upgrade I could for each of my powers, and nothing made anything any more effective. Just no matter how many upgrades I bought, I kept getting tossed around the fucking screen. Oh, and speaking of upgrades, the upgrade system is broken as shit. I ended up grabbing all the upgrades available in my first 20 minutes, and all I had to do to make sure I kept up to date with those updates is just complete a few side missions, which have nothing to do with a goddamn game. Nothing. At all. If you're gonna give us side quests for the sake of having them, for the sake of just filling up this bland and otherwise empty game world, why the hell make the game world free roam in the first place? I mean, the story's pretty much told on rails to begin with. Why give us the option? I mean, the only missions that actually seem to make any impact on the game in any way are the military consume parties. And even then, mostly they're just there for XP. I didn't have any fun with this game whatsoever. The combat sucks, the powers suck, the side quests suck. This game did nothing right for me whatsoever. Before I start talking about the game's story, however, can I just say that they fucked that up as well. This game takes itself way too fucking seriously for a story as crap and forgettable as this. I mean, it's not the worst story I've ever gone through in a game, at least I don't think so. I actually can't be sure because the story of Prototype is a mashup of everything End of the World themed with a viral outbreak. It's like the writers threw all the Resident Evil games into a fucking blender and tried making a fruit cocktail. Is there a virus that threatens the entire human race? Yes. Does the virus change people into monsters? Yes. Are the military involved, trying to take charge and contain the outbreak but are inevitably failing? Yes. Do we have a single hero who is the only one who can stop the virus? Yes. Was there a government cover-up involved in the background of the virus? Yes. Is there a patient zero about the virus with unnatural abilities? Yes. I get the feeling there's a decent story waiting to be told here, but the game developers had their heads so far up their own asses to tell it right. The story is told in an out-of-order style, like the one that made Man of Steel so fucking hard to watch. And then most of the story isn't actually told through the fucking game. Oh yeah, the real story is told through the web of intrigue, which is more like the conspirators map in Assassin's Creed 2, meaning every time you find someone in it, more people are revealed on it, each one adding to the supposed conspiracy. I say supposed because there doesn't seem to be a conspiracy. Everyone on the development team must have been too busy either blowing coke or jerking themselves off to how amazing they thought this game was going to turn out. What frustrates me about the story though in Prototype is the fact they take themselves so goddamn seriously. It's not even funny. I mean, they try and take me seriously as a gamer, but their story, their gameplay, everything about it, they try and take me seriously and I find that insulting. If they were trying to treat me like an idiot, then I would probably brush it off easier because this game isn't like marketed for me. It's probably marketed for other people who don't think about the story, but they're trying to take me seriously. They're not making fun of themselves. They're not making fun of anything else. This is straight backed, full on attitude. It's like in Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the Hedgehog, they took themselves way too seriously and everyone found it amusing. But this, they took themselves way too seriously and I just find it fucking annoying. They have not earned my respect, therefore they do not get to take me seriously. This is really the best you could come up with. This is the pinnacle of your story writing technique. Who the fuck made this game? I don't normally look into developers of games because I don't want to look like an ass at myself, but I had to find the people responsible for this piece of shit. And lo and behold, who did I find at the source? Activision. You know, the development company that has a hand in every Call of Duty game. The development company that somehow takes the exact same game, clones it year after year and makes millions of sales. Yeah, that company. It's clear what Prototype was. They didn't want to be typecast as that company that makes Call of Duty. They wanted to make something new, something different. And bearing in mind, this company does make Call of Duty, so they're not the best at creating stories, are they? Are they? Let's be honest. No one buys Call of Duty for the single player experience. They buy it for the multiplayer. The stories are woefully short and kind of badly written. This one is a single player slog with a horrible story, horrible pacing, and just I think I've made my point actually. So anyway, the story. The game gives us control of Alex Mercer, a man who has been infected with the mysterious Black Light virus, and who just so happens to have woken up in a morgue with no memory of anything that happened before that day. Oh boy, it's going to be one of those stories, isn't it? You know, the type of story that has the main character wake up with amnesia and told out of order, with travelling back to the present day where we're leading up to, and then a past where the gameplay actually happens. It's one of those stories that builds up to a big dramatic twist. So if this is the type of story you're telling Activision, you better make damn sure that twist is worth the effort. So Mercer escapes the morgue of the company Gentek and gets outside, where he's shot. I hope you guys enjoyed Prototype, because I sure as fuck didn't. No, that would be far too kind for me, wouldn't it? Alex gets up, heals himself, and runs away. There, he discovers one of his new abilities is to consume people. This just means he kills them, takes them into himself, and copies their memories and appearance. This is using the game's stealth aspect, and I use the term stealth lightly, by the way, because you could just straight up choose to go Rambo at any point in the game and slaughter everyone in your way. Does the game penalise this in any way? No. Does the outcome of the game change in any way if you change your playstyle? No. It's like that whole issue we were talking about with the map again. They made the game open world but had no idea what to put in it. And then they made the game open-ended but had no effort into the replay value whatsoever. I mean, they didn't add anything into it to make it more interesting to play. And in parts of the game that would be kind of cool to play, like sneaking around buildings, it just dumps us into a cinematic, takes us from the part where we left off to straight back into the action again. Why should I choose to be sneaky in any way, shape or form when you're just going to give me action sequences over and over again? It's like they took elements from video games that were trendy at the time and stuck them next to each other, one bit at a time. So, Alex consumes a nearby soldier and it's revealed that the military are looking for Alex's sister, Dana. Alex goes in and saves her, and it's revealed to him that he contacted her when he started working for Gentek. So, obviously, Gentek having some involvement in this whole conspiracy thing, Alex goes to the headquarters and finds a woman called Elizabeth Green, also a host for the Blacklight virus. Alex inadvertently releases Green and Blacklight begins to spread across the city. It's at this point that Blackwatch, a faction of the military designed to monitor Blacklight, arrive in the city. Gentek drops out of the game. I am deadly serious about this, guys. If a plot device in this game runs its course, it just simply drops out of existence. It's not even referenced again. Alex is then told by Dana that Blackwatch are interested in a fellow Gentek employee and former lover of Alex, Karen Parker. So Alex goes to find her, and after that she tells him to collect genetic material of the infected areas of the city to understand how to combat the virus. As this is going on, Blackwatch officer Robert Cross is called in to kill Alex. Karen, who is secretly working for Blackwatch, uses the material Alex collected to create a weapon for Cross to use on Alex. Of course, when the two meet, a boss fight is triggered in which Cross, a regular human, stands his ground against a superhuman Alex. How? A fucking cattle prod. Really? You jump through machine gun fire, snatch rockets out of the air and throw them back at your enemies, but a cattle prod? Fucking kryptonite! Alex of course kicks the crap out of Cross, but Cross manages to survive in perhaps the most forced, contrived and convoluted means possible.
Well, I can tell you all you need to know about Penn Station. In a way, I feel sorry for you.
That is quite literally the dumbest way I have ever seen a character forcefully made to survive. I mean, he accidentally mentioned Penn Station, caused Alex to have a flashback, and he's knocked out of commission, and that's how he survives. Really? Alex stops going on a killing spree because of a cattle prod and a migraine. Don't mess with this fucking badass! I've heard of some Deus Ex Machina bullshit in my time, but that takes the fucking cake and eats it too. I mean, you could have done anything! Literally anything! And this is what you went with. Alex doesn't kill Cross because he gets a fucking migraine. What are you on? Oh, and all those melee powers you worked so hard to unlock up till this point and spent all that XP upgrading, they don't work now. Because now we got a fucking parasite sucking away all our juice. You know what this means, right? This literally means Activision was halfway through making this game before realizing, they're probably just gonna go all out Rambo throughout each of these missions. We need to make them do the stealth stuff our way. So they just powered down Alex in the middle of the game. I have heard of powering down game characters. Look at God of War, for example. But exactly, in God of War, you're powered down because of the sequels. You're powered down in God of War 2 and 3 because you're too OP from the events of God of War 1 and 2, respectively. You don't power down your character in the middle of the game. I mean, it's interesting, it's a new development. I could applaud Activision for that. But I can't. I can't applaud them for trying this new path because it was to correct their own fucking stupidity. So Alex finds a doctor who can help him get rid of the parasite, but at the same time, a new type of infected kidnaps Dana. When Alex comes to consume this new type of infected, he uses it to repel the parasite and regain his powers in the process. Rescuing Dana, Alex pretty much says goodbye to his sister and the doctor and takes the parasite that nearly killed him and uses it on Elizabeth Green. That doesn't work, however, and she creates a new entity referred to as the Supreme Hunter. This, ladies and gentlemen, leads me to perhaps one of the most unfair, cruel, and relentless boss fights I have ever had to review in video game history. It is such bullshit! The Supreme Hunter is pretty much impervious to normal attacks. Now this won't be a problem because you have some super attacks you can use, and heck, the military comes in with fucking weapons you can actually shoot him with, and even tanks you can fire shells at. Now this would be a good thing, except the Hunter never leaves you the fuck alone. I was playing on normal mode and the Hunter would just not let up. Now some of you can say that makes the fight more challenging, doesn't it? No. No, it does not. I spent half my fight running away from this thing. I could barely do anything else. There was barely any opening to attack. Consider the fact I practically played Prototype on autopilot. There was no effort put into completing this game. I beat it without any effort apart from in this specific boss fight. This insane difficulty spike comes out of nowhere, especially considering, spoilers, the Supreme Hunter is also the last boss in the game as well, and I won that one just by throwing shit at him. This boss fight is just bullshit! Other infected constantly spawn as well, meaning when you do get an opening to attack, someone else will just come along and knock you on your ass. And these aren't just simple little dickheads that go down in a couple of hits, these are veritable mini-bosses. What is this clusterfuck? Fuck this boss fight. So when Alex comes back from that bullshit boss fight, he's contacted by a member of Blackwatch with information. What's the information? Basically, the twist. You want to hear it? It's fucking brilliant.
They'd studied the virus for years on animals. Wanted to see what it would do to humans. At first, nothing happened. They let their guard down. Then it rose up suddenly, infected the town, overran the population. It found the perfect host in Elizabeth Green. Genentech was working a sample of the Hope virus. They called it Blacklight. The goal was to engineer a version that could copy and combine genetic traits to rewrite living creatures. Sound familiar? It should. You're not human. You're the Blacklight virus.
So... Actually, I don't know what that means. Are we just a host of the virus? Are we the virus in human form? Has the virus gained sentience? Is the virus alive? Look, I get that some games are designed to leave the player with questions, but those need to be questions about human nature, the mind, the body, the soul, that sort of thing. Questions that make us go, rather than make us go, huh? These questions shouldn't pop up when you're trying to explain the story of your game to the player. That means what you've just done to clarify stuff for the player has just left them even more confused. Okay, if you really want to know what the fuck goes down with Alex, allow me to explain, because this game doesn't do a good job about it. Alex worked for Genentech in order to find information on Blacklight. Blackwatch discovered that someone was leaking this information, so they ordered everyone at Genentech involved with Blacklight to be terminated. Alex took a vial of Blacklight with him, but was cornered in Penn Station, so he broke the vial. He was shot, and the virus infected his body, and something happens on a genetic level, causing the virus to take over Alex's body and rewrite his personality or something, I don't know. Let me get this straight. Alex Mercer is a conspiracy nut. Works in Genentech to try and expose Blacklight, and to make sure he doesn't get shot, he decides to release a virus that within 3 weeks of being released has somehow managed to infect everyone in New York City. What a fucking asshole. Look, there have been some asshole characters in games, and even in movies, I mean, Kratos in God of War, he kills gods and destroys the world by the third game, but we forgive him because god fucking damn it, he's been fucked over by everyone in that universe, but we don't know anything about Alex. Literally nothing. And therefore, he can't get away with this shit. Why should we side with anything he does? Why should we decide to side with our main character if he is such a fucking jackass? Jesus Christ. So after this, Alex and his new blacklight buddy, which is Cross by the way, start pumping a new chemical called blood tox underground to draw out green. This results in another boss fight and another bullshit storyline. So allow me to explain again, because again the game doesn't do a good job of explaining this. At the end of the 60s, the government was testing a new virus that was designed to kill specific races. PC much. The virus, surprisingly, mutates and kills everyone except for Elizabeth Green, who, due to a strange mutation in her own DNA, manages to become a host for the virus. Not only that, but the virus mutates inside of her and becomes Blacklight, and it also affects her unborn son. Why the fact she has to be pregnant, I have no idea. The fact that she's pregnant adds nothing to the story whatsoever. I suppose it's to show that the big bad government is really the enemy, but no, they're not. Alex is the enemy. Alex is the fucking arsehole that started all this. I mean, the original infection, not his fault. That happened somewhere else. But Alex has started the second one. Why should we... The government is the good guys in this scenario. Jesus. So, Alex and Cross get onto the Blackwatch command ship and Alex consumes the leader. Unfortunately, after he arms a nuclear device that he was planning on using to wipe out the city. In the classical government cliche of getting rid of a quarantine zone. Whoopity fuckity do. I don't know why he doesn't just cancel the detonation, because he's consumed the commander. He knows the counter command. Anyway, like I said, the Supreme Hunter is the final boss. And how is this? Well, it turns out the Supreme Hunter consumed Cross and assumed his identity, and now wants to consume Alex. The boss fight is, like I said, easier than the first one against the Hunter, except for one tiny little thing. There's a fucking time limit. No, I'm not making that up. Fucking time limit. Who the fuck came up with that? What sort of sadist from the 90s decided that this was a good idea? So, after the final countdown, Alex takes the bomb out to sea and his remains float back to shore, where he manages to regenerate himself by consuming a crow. And this is pretty much the end of the prototype. Hope you enjoy my suffering, you sadistic assholes, because I am not suffering through that again. This game is bad. Like, really bad. I have never had a more unpleasant experience playing a video game in my life. Well, apart from what happened in June, but that's another story entirely. Might go into it one day. This game felt as if it was on rails half the time, and felt empty and unfinished the rest. Like it was the alpha build of a game, and Activision just shoved it out saying, yeah, it works, play that. It's like it was a literal prototype for an actual game. I get this feeling Prototype could have made a much better movie than it would a video game. Because it does boast some good cinematic sequences, but those really don't save for the clusterfuck of everything else in this game. So with that in mind, Prototype receives a dark rating of 23.
I looked for the truth, found it, didn't like it.
Thanks for watching. If you have a suggestion for my next review, please drop it in the comment section below. Leave me a tweet on Twitter, share it with me on Google+, hold a gun to my head and scream it at me. That usually works. But as always, I've been Darkest101. You have been watching Darkest101 Reviews. Thanks for watching. Good night, YouTube.